Codex Coislinianus designated by HP or 015 Alpha 1022 was named also as Codex Euthalianus. It is a Greek uncial manuscript of the Pauline epistles, dated palaeographically to the 6th century. The text is written stichometrically. It has marginalia. The Codex is known for its subscription at the end of the Epistle to Titus. The manuscript was divided into several parts and was used as raw material for the production of new volumes. The Codex came to the attention of scholars in the 18th century. Currently it is housed in several European libraries, in Paris, Athos, St. Petersburg, Kiev, Moscow, and Turin. It is cited in all critical editions of the Greek New Testament. Contents. The surviving leaves of the Codex contain 1 Cor 10:22-29, 11-9-16, 2 Cor 4-2-7, 10-5-11-8, 11-12-12-4, Gal 1-1-10, 2-9-17, 430-5-5, Col 126-2-8, 220-3-11. 1 Thes 2-9-13, 4-5-11, 1 Tim 1-7-2-13, 3-7-13, 6-9-13, 2 Tim 2-1-9, Titus chapter 1 verses 1-3, 1:15-2-5, 3:13-15, HEBR 1-3-8, 2:11-16, 3:13-18, 4:12-15, 10-1-7, 10:32-38, 12:10-15, 13:24-25. All these books, belonging to the Pauline epistles, have survived only in fragments. Romans, Philippians, Ephesians, 2 Thes, and Phil have been lost altogether. Description. The Codex originally contained the entire Pauline epistles. The leaves were arranged in quarto. Only 41 leaves of the Codex have survived. The text is written on parchment in large, square uncials in 1 column per page and 16 lines per page. The breathings and accents were added by a later hand. Accents often were put in wrong places. Iota subscriptum does not occur. There are some errors of attachism. The nomina sacra are written in an abbreviated way. The words at the end of the line are contracted. The text is divided according to the kappa epsilon phi alpha lambda alpha iota alpha, whose numbers are given at the margin. It contains also tables of the kappa epsilon phi alpha lambda alpha iota alpha before each book. The value of the Codex is indicated by its subscription at the end of the Epistle to Titus. Gamma rho alpha psi alpha kappa alpha xi epsilon theta epsilon mu eta nu kappa alpha tau delta epsilon nu alpha mu iota nu sigma tau epsilon iota pi eta rho nu tau omicron delta epsilon tau tau epsilon chi omicron sigma pi alpha epsilon lambda omicron epsilon tau omicron pi omicron sigma tau omicron lambda omicron epsilon pi sigma gamma gamma rho alpha mu mu nu kappa alpha epsilon kappa alpha tau alpha lambda eta mu pi tau omicron nu nu alpha gamma nu omega sigma iota news nu tau epsilon beta lambda 8 the theta eta delta beta iota beta lambda omicron sigma pi rho sigma tau nu kappa alpha iota of sigma alpha rho iota nu tau iota gamma rho alpha phi omicron nu tau sigma beta iota beta lambda iota omicron theta eta kappa 8 the sigma tau omicron gamma iota omicron epsilon pi alpha mu phi iota lambda omicron epsilon chi epsilon iota rho gamma rho alpha mu mu epsilon nu omicron nu alpha tau omicron Euthalianus wrote this volume of the Apostle Paul as carefully as possible in sticho, so that it might be read with intelligence. The book was compared with the copy in the library at Caesarea, written by the hand of Pamphilius the saint. Almost the same note appears in Codex Sinaiticus in the Book of Ezra and some Armenian manuscripts. Text. The Greek text of this codex is a representative of the Alexandrian text type, but with a large number of Byzantine readings. According to Lagrange, the text is similar to that of Codex Vaticanus. It is one of the witnesses for the Euthalian recension of the Pauline epistles. According to Eberhard Nestle, it is one of the most valuable manuscripts. Gert and Barbara Orland gave the following textual profile of it: 71:01-122 3s. This means the text of the Codex agrees with the Byzantine standard text 7 times. It agrees 12 times with the original text against the Byzantine, and that it has 3 independent distinctive readings. Orland considered the quality of the text to suit his category 3. The corrections in the text are almost always representative of the Byzantine textual tradition. The words before a bracket are the readings of Nestle Orland. The words after a bracket are the readings of the Codex 2 Cor 10 7 Phi Phi, 2 Cor 10 8 Tau Epsilon, Amit 2 Cor 11 1 Phi Rho Omicron Sigma Upsilon Nu Eta Sigma Tau Eta Phi Rho Omicron Sigma Upsilon Nu Eta 2 Cor 11 3 Kappa Alpha Tau Sigma Gamma Nu Omicron Tau Eta Tau Omicron Sigma Amit 2 Cor 11 30 Mu Omicron Upsilon Amit 2 Cor 12 3 Chi Omega Rho Sigma Epsilon Kappa Tau Omicron Sigma Gal 1 3 Mu Omega Nu Kappa Alpha Kappa Upsilon Rho Omicron Upsilon Kappa Alpha Iota Kappa Upsilon Rho Iota Omicron Upsilon Eta Mu Omega Nu Col 1 27 Omicron Sigma. History. The Codex was probably written in the 6th century at the library in Caesarea, later coming into the possession of the monastery of the Great Lava on Mount Athos, but its value appears to have been overlooked. Leaves of the Codex were used as raw material for the production of new volumes. In 975 some leaves, now known as Fragmenta Marquensia, were used to cover a volume of Gregory Nazianzen at Mount Athos. In the 12th century Fragmenta Taurinensia were used in Nicetas Catenata the Psalterium. In 1218 another part, now named as Fragmenta Coislinianus, were used with the same purpose. As a result, leaves of the Codex were scattered in several places of the monastery, from where they were collected on several occasions by people from France, Russia, and Italy. The first was Pierre Seguin, who bought 14 leaves which known later as Fragmenta Coislinianus, and became a part of the Codex Coislin. They were held in Saint-Germain-des-Prés. In 1715 Bernard de Montfaucon published text of these 14 leaves. He made a few mistakes corrected by Tischendorf. Tischendorf observed in Paris additional passage. Montfaucon used the manuscript for his palaeographical studies. After the fire of Saint-Germain-des-Prés in 1793 only 12 leaves were found. The other 2 have been transferred to St. Petersburg. From 1795 until the present it has been held by the Bibliothèque Nationale de France. Fragmenta Marquensia were brought to Moscow in 1665. They were examined by Matthei. The last was Porfiria Suspensky, who took 1 leaf from the monastery. The Codex is located in 8 places, in 7 libraries, in 6 cities in Europe. The bulk of the surviving leaves are held in 2 collections in Paris, both in the National Library of France. 8 leaves have not left the Great Lavra. 9 leaves are held in Ukraine or Russia, 3 each in Kiev, St. Petersburg and Moscow. Finally, 2 leaves are held in Turin. Henry Arment published the part of the Codex known to him. Another part of the Codex housed at Athos was published by Chrysoplate in 1905. It is cited in the printed editions of the Greek New Testament since Tischendorf's edition. The manuscript is cited in all critical editions of the Greek New Testament. In NA 27 it belongs to the witnesses consistently cited of the first order.